Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to learn how to play Cat in the Box. Cat in the Box is a 3 to 5 player game, but does have 2-player rules in it, and it is published by Bezier Games. Cat in the Box is a unique trick-taking game because you can declare what color the card is when you're playing your rounds. So unlike normal trick-taking games where you have the color of cards and the number of cards in your hand and they're fixed, in this game you can declare what color your card is when you play it. And that is a very unique thing in trick-taking games. And let's go ahead down to the table. I'm going to show you how to play this game. All right, so this is Cat in the Box. Cat in the Box is a card game categorized as a trick-taking game. The colors of each cat card is not certain, and when the card is played, it will be treated as the color declared by the player. However, players are not allowed to declare the color of a card with the same number that has already been declared. So there's going to be a lot of finagling that you're going to have to do here to be able to achieve victory. Now, setup for the game is going to be pretty straightforward, but I'm going to go through some stuff that is on this chart here that you're going to need to go over. But just to start off here, these are the components that you're going to get in the game. This is going to be your deck of cards. It's going to be 1 through 9. All cards are going to be the same color, black here. And you're going to have 5 of each number. So you have 5 1s, 5 2s, 5 3s, so on. You're going to get this round start card. And whoever you decide to be the first player here is going to get this card. And then each round, a new player will get it. And we're going to be playing this game so that everyone gets a turn being the start player. So if it's 3 player, 3 rounds, 4 player, 4 rounds, and so on. These are optional cards that you can use when you're placing out your card to show its color. These are going to be used here to show what numbers are available for you to use, number and colors. We'll show you that in a little bit. This is going to be your score sheet, and these are going to be your player boards, and these are going to be your player pieces. And there's going to be 5 different colors here that you can play with the player pieces. And in some player counts, you'll be placing out these cats here to block off some spaces. So in this setup sheet right here, basically what you're going to be looking for is you're going to be looking first to see how you're going to set up the deck, which is going to be these cards right here. Now, if we're playing with a 5-player game, we're going to be using all 9 cards, which is going to be 45 cards. If we're playing with 4-player, we're going to be using cards 1 through 8, so we'll take all the 9s out and we'll have 40 cards. If we're playing with 3 players, we're going to be playing 1 through 6, and that's going to be 30 cards. And if we're playing with 2 players, we're going to be playing 1 through 5, which is 25 cards. Now, a note here, I'm not really going to go over the additional rules that you're going to need for a 2-player game. There's going to be a dummy player that you're going to be using in the 2-player game. We're just going to go over the normal rules for the game itself. Next is just simply player boards. Obviously, if you have 5 players, you're going to be handing out 5 player boards. But the big thing to know on the player boards themselves is you're going to look in the bottom left-hand corner here. So you see how this says 2 to 3, and this says 4 to 5. So if you're playing 2 to 3 players, you'll be using this side. If you're playing 4 to 5 players, you'll be using this side. And you'll also notice that this has different numbers on here, which we'll go over in a little bit. All right, so back to this chart here. So the next thing you're going to do is your player tokens. You'll have 5. This is also pretty obvious here. If you'll have 5 different types if you're 5 players. So these are player tokens. So you'll be placing out 5 different types if you're playing with 5, 4 for 4, 3 for 3, 2 for 2. Observation tokens, which are these cats here, and they're going to cover over certain parts of this board here. In a 4-player game, they're necessary, and in a 2-player game, they're necessary. And they're going to basically block out some of the spaces on the board itself. So, for example, if you're playing with the 1 through 8 with a 4-player, you'll block out all these 9s here because you're not playing with the 9s, but you had to put the card out. And the same thing with a 2-player. You're playing 1 through 5, but you'll notice that this card has 4, 5, 6, so you're going to use those cats to block off the 6. And that's what those are for. Next, this talks about the face board. I just showed you how to do that for this. And then this is going to teach you which sides you're going to be using. So on this, there's going to be two sides. So there's going to be this white side here, and there's going to be this purple side here. And depending on your player count, depends on what one you're going to put out. So for a 5-player game, you'll put out purple. For a 4-player game, you'll put out white for your first game and purple later on if you want. For the 3-player game, you're going to be putting out white for your first game and purple later on if you want. And for 2 players, it's always white. Now, you're also going to take a look at your cards that you're going to be using. So for 3-player, it says white or purple. So I would only, if I'm playing the purple side, I would only put out these 2 cards. And they're going to sleeve in here. I'll show you in a second. And I can actually even fold this over. So it just shows this side. And then if I'm doing the white side, I would do this side here. So we're going to, and then the same thing as going on for the 3-player game, we're just going to do that. And we can use half the board. But when you get into the 4 or 5, you'll have to use the whole board. So if we're setting up for, let's say, a 3-player game, we can pick either the white side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or the purple side with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the purple side is going to have more cut off. So there's going to be a couple different options here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have it like this. So it's like staggered. And this is important too, which I'm going to show you later on, for how you set up to get extra points if you meet your what you said you're going to get for your tricks. So for now, we're just going to use the introductory side, which is going to be this side. And what you're going to simply do is you slide them in like so. And I'll slide this one in like so. And now we have our player board set up. So to finish it off, you're going to give each player their player board. And if we're playing 2 to 3 players, it'll be on this side. And you're going to give each player some tokens of their choice. And when they're going to place 1 token on each of the color X's here. And then you can place the rest of these off to the side for right now. They'll be available for the player. You can choose whether you're going to use these cards or not. And whoever recently had a quantum anomaly, or just pick whoever wants to be first, is going to get this. And that's going to be, other than shuffling this deck and removing the cards necessary. So again, we'll go back, and for 3 players, we're only going to be playing with the 1 through 6 numbered cards. So we'll get the 7, 8, 9 out. We'll shuffle this deck up. We'll have it out ready to go, and we're ready to play the game. All right, so let's get into how to play this game. So what you're going to do is, now that we have our deck set up, now that everyone has their player boards and set up, and now we have the game board out here, we're going to shuffle up this deck. And after we shuffle up this deck, we are going to deal out 10 cards to each player. Now, basically what you're doing is you don't have to count. You're just dealing out all the cards. It just happens that this is going to be 10 cards to each player in this 3-player game. All right. And then you're going to hand that to each player. So all the cards have been dealt out. Now, one of the things with this game is you're going to not be able to play all of your cards. At the beginning of the game here, we're going to go ahead and discard a card. And at the end of the game, we're going to play all but 1 card. So you're going to be in a 3-player game playing 8 cards. So 8 different tricks that can happen. Now, a couple things about trick-taking games. So I'll explain just the basic idea of a trick-taking game first. Okay, so some real quick basics about trick-taking games. In trick-taking games, each player is going to play normally 1 card, and the highest card that is played is going to win the trick. Now, in a lot of trick-taking games, there is colors that are in there and trump. And in this game, you also have colors and trump. So what will happen is whatever color is led, all the other players have to follow that color if possible. If they can't follow that color, and in this game, you can play any other color that you want. But unless it's trump, the highest of the color that was first led is going to win. Now, if it's trump, which in this game is always going to be red, I'm going to show you what this means in a little bit, that will always win. And whatever the highest number of trump is, will win that trick. And you're going to keep track of these tricks separately. So in a very, very quick nutshell, that's what it means to do trick taking. So we're going to go ahead back and I'm going to show you how that affects this game. All right, so back to the game itself. Now, if you're looking through these cards, you have your cards that are going to be numbered, in this case, in a 3-player game, 1 through 6, and there's going to be 5 different copies of this. You can sort these cards if you want before you start the game, or you can leave them unsorted if you want to be tricky, because some people might pay attention to the left to right order that's in your hand and where you're pulling from, so they can probably figure out what you have left or in your hand. So if you want to have somebody that's a trickster like that, you maybe not want to sort these. So as you notice, there are no colors to this. But when you take your turn, so let's say I'm the first player, I can pick a color and say this 6 is blue. Or I could say this 4 is green. But why would I pick these colors, and what am I trying to do, and why I'm going to win these tricks? Well, a couple different things. Every trick's going to be worth a point, but also right before we start, we will pick how many tricks that we are going to win. So if I'm this blue player here, I might say that I'll win 3 tricks. And if I'm the yellow player, maybe I'll say, oh, I'll also win 3 tricks. And if I'm the red player, I'll say I'll win 1. So right now we have 6, 7 tricks, and we have 8 tricks that can be won. So someone's not going to be happy in this game. And there's another thing where we can cause a quantum anomaly and make someone very unhappy. So we're going to pick one of these cards to discard. And let's say, you know what, I'm going to discard this 1 because I think, no, you know what, maybe I'm going to keep this 1 because I want to lose a trick. So I'll get rid of this 4 just in case that's going to cause a quantum anomaly, which we'll go over in a little bit. So if I'm blue, let's say blue's the first player, and I want to play a card, I'm going to pick any one of these cards and put it down. Now, the color that I can pick, so let's say I want to win this trick right away, I'm going to play a 6. I can then take a look and see these 6s here are available. I can't play trump at all. You can never lead with trump unless trump has already been broken, which means that someone played offsuit and they played a trump, which I'll show you in a little bit here. So let's say I want to play this blue as 6. So I say this is blue, and I'll put it by the blue part of my board here. And the next player will say, I'm going to play 1 blue. So they're playing 1 blue. So they put their little thing on there. And then this player says that they want to play 3 blue. So they're going to put this right by their little board here, and they're saying 3 blue. So they'll put it here. Now, 6 is the highest of these blues because this is what was led. So 6 wins the trick. So I'll put this here. And now I've won 1 of 3 of my tricks. Now, whoever won the trick gets to go again. All right. So I'll be looking at my cards, and I'm looking at my cards, and I'll say, what do I want to play here? Maybe I will play, I've won 1 trick. I don't want to win too many more, but maybe I just want to win them all right now. So I'll say, you know what? I'm going to play this, and it's going to be a 6 green. So there's this 6 available here. I can't say it's 6 blue because that's already covered by myself or anyone else, doesn't matter. And this player is going to say, you know what? I'm going to play a 2 green. And this player here is going to say, I'm going to play a 5 green. So they're going to go ahead and they're going to play a 5 green. Now 6 is still here. It's the highest color here, so 6 wins the trick. Now I'm looking at my cards and I'm like, I've won 2 tricks so far and I only want to win 3. I need to start losing, but I have some of these low cards. What do I want to do? So these other people might want to start winning tricks. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and get rid of one of my 3s, and I'm going to say my 3 is a 3 yellow. So I'll put it on this side because that color matches there, and I'll put this on 3 yellow. This player is going to come and say, well, you know what? I still don't want to win anything, so it's going to be a 2 yellow. And then this player comes over here, and they say, you know what? I'm going to get rid of this one because I do want to win this. And I'm going to play a 6 yellow. So again, 6 yellow is the highest, so they get the trick. Now this player gets to lead off and play their card. So this player, this yellow player, looks at their hand, and they say they want to win 3 tricks. And you know what? They're worried about some stuff, so they're going to They're trying to get these connected, so they're going to play 5 yellow. Now, why would you want to get these connected? Well, the reason why you want to get these connected is because if I do get my trick count that I said that I would get 3 tricks here, I also get a bonus, and my bonus is going to be what is the largest horizontally or vertically connected chain of tokens that I have. And that number is going to be the number of points that I'll get. So they'll play that. This player here is going to play the 1 of yellow. So they're going to go ahead and play the 1 of yellow. And I am going to say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and play the 4 of green. Well, how do I do that? Because there is a 4 yellow here. Whether there's one available or not, I can do that. I can simply say, you know what? I don't have any more yellow. I'm done with yellow. I can never play yellow again. So I take this token off to show that I can never play yellow again, and I put one on the 4 green. All right, so now what happens? Well, now 5's going to win because it's yellow. Now, if we did this opposite for one reason or another, and they had 4 and I had 5, 4 would still win because this 5 isn't of the color that was led. So this player, no matter what, had the higher, so they're going to win this, and that's going to be their next trick. So that's one thing you can do. Now, I can never play a 4 yellow ever, or any other available yellow for the rest of the game. This player gets to start the next hand here, and you know what? They're going to go ahead and play, because they're mean, they're going to go ahead and play 4 yellow. So they'll put 4 yellow on here. Now, this player goes next, and they're going to be like, you know what? I'm playing 6. But you know what? You know what? I only wanted to win 1 trick. I don't have any yellow. So they're going to say, I don't have yellow. Take that off so they can never play yellow again. Really can't anyway because there's nothing there. And they're going to play a 6 red. And I still don't want to win anything, but I don't want to get in. Whoops, those are the tricks I took. I don't want to get in any trouble. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play this 3. And I'm going to say it is green. So I'll take one of my markers and I'll put on a 3. Now, the lead color here was yellow. However, since red was played, which is the trump, and it's always the trump, that one's going to win. And we're going to look at the highest trump. Only one was played. It was a 6. So they win the trick. And then we can start off on a new round. Now, since a red card was played or trump was played, they can lead with trump. They wouldn't really want to because they only bid 1, but if they wanted to, they could say, hey, this is a 5 red, and now everyone needs to play red. And that will go on until we end the game with having 2 cards, and then we'll play our last trick, and our last card will never get played. Now, one thing to point out, if something happens in the game here, and it comes to my turn, and I can't play a card. So let's say I said I don't have a green and I don't have a red for one reason or another. And this is the state here, and these are my last 2 cards. It doesn't matter if it's the last 2 cards, I'm just showing this as the state. So I can't play a 3, and I can't play a 1 because I said I don't have any red left and I don't have any green left. So now I've caused a quantum anomaly. The game immediately ends. Whatever trick we were on doesn't count, and we go straight to scoring. If this didn't occur, we're going to go all the way till we get to the last 2 cards. We'll play that last trick, and then our last card gets discarded, and then we're going to go to scoring. So that is how Cat in the Box works. All right, so scoring in this game is very, very simple. So if someone didn't cause a quantum anomaly, scoring happens this way. You will get 1 point for every trick that you finished. So if I finished 2 tricks here, let's say, I get 2 points. Now, if I met my trick, how many tricks I was going to say, then I'm going to get a bonus. In this case, I got 2, so I didn't. But let's say I did get 3 tricks. So if I got 3 tricks, I get 3 points. Plus, I would also get my bonus. Now, my bonus would be the largest grouping of my tokens that are on this board here. So in this case, I'd have 1, 2, 3. So I get 3 more points. So for this round, I would have got 6 points. And Just to clarify, these have to be horizontally or vertically adjacent, no diagonals. Now, if I caused a quantum anomaly, meaning I couldn't have played a card and I ended the game early, then I get a negative point for every trick that I took. So if I took 3 tricks here, I would get negative 3 points. In addition, even though I met my what I set for how many tricks I was take, I would not get the bonus. And that is how simply scoring is done. Now you're going to go over however many rounds you have players. So if a 3-player game, you're going to play 3 rounds. And then the person with the most points at the end of the 3rd round will win the game. If there is a tie, the player with the highest score during the final round wins. If the players are also tied, the tied players share the victory. And that's how you play Cat in the Box. Thank you for watching.